Introducing the remarkable archetype, the dangerous gentleman. With a demeanor that commands respect and a hint of potency, he embodies strength tempered by virtue. Though his capabilities could veer towards danger, he channels his power for noble causes, serving others and safeguarding those in need. Rooted in a profound love for both God and humanity, he navigates life with discipline and purpose. In his presence, one witnesses the harmonious blend of power and benevolence, a testament to the true essence of masculinity. Step into the world of the dangerous gentleman, where strength is wielded for righteousness, and discover a captivating embodiment of honor and valor. My fellow Americans, welcome to the Dangerous Gentleman podcast. Yes, I am the Dangerous Gentleman. No, I did not give myself that nickname, but I certainly did earn it. If you're watching this on the day that it drops, then the election is upon us. It is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, and it's Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. So before I jump into anything else, I want to encourage you with the strongest urgency possible to vote if you haven't voted. Go get in line and stand at your ballot place. Do it. If you need to put your ballot in the mail, do it. If you've already mailed in your ballot, go online and check to make sure that it's been received. And you need to do this not just for you, but check with every single friend, family, and neighbor that you have, and every chat group. Make sure that they voted. There is so much at stake in this election. More than at any other time in my lifetime, and probably over the course of the rest of my life, this election is a referendum on the future of this country. It's likely to set the pace for where this country goes for at least the next 10, 20 years, if not longer. We have two candidates, and they want to take this country in opposite directions. The reason that this is so important is that one of the candidates loves America and wants America to be all that it can be. And if you've watched me long enough and you've heard much of me, you know you'll be able to figure out who I'm voting for and who I'm talking about. But I'm just going to be explicitly clear. I support Donald Trump for president. I make no bones about it. I make no apology about it. I do it happily with no shame, remorse, or guilt. And I don't care what anybody says to me about it. I have friends that vote on the other side. I have plenty of friends that vote on this side too. I don't vote for him because he's perfect. I don't vote for him because he's never made a mistake. I don't vote for him because he's never going to make a mistake again. He is a flawed human, just like every single one of us. He's made mistakes in his past, just like every single one of us. He's going to make more mistakes in the future, just like every single one of us. I don't agree with every policy position he makes, but I'm not here to try to convince you to vote for him, because chances are by the time any of you watch this, you've already cast your vote. I'm doing this to get my own views out, and I want to encourage you for the future of this country. When I was growing up, people were proud to be Americans. We were proud to stand for the national anthem. And most of the time when I was after the age of maybe 12 or 13, when I really started to figure out what it meant, standing for the national anthem usually brought a tear to my eye. I put my hand across my heart and did it with pride. Every morning in school, we stood and said the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I learned growing up the power of this country, the beauty of this country, and everything that it stood for. Has America made mistakes? Plenty of them. Lots of them. Will America make more mistakes in the future? Yes. Is America flawed right now? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be proud to be Americans. That doesn't mean we shouldn't fight to protect our American values. A few weeks ago, I did an episode where I talked about the importance and the benefits of masculinity and how we shouldn't be afraid of being men. And the reason I did that is because the world needs men to stand up. The world needs men to stand up and not act like women. We need to stand up and act like men because the world follows men. They follow courage. They follow strength. They follow fortitude. And when men are being masculine and when men are acting like men, they have those things and people follow them. And the world is a better place when it does. When that isn't happening, it feels upside down. It's natural. It is biology. It's the way we were designed. It's the way we were created by God. This world was designed to be led by men. It's literally in our DNA. And everything is upside down in this country right now and across the world because that's not happening. So men need to stand up. That's the first thing I want to, so I want to reinforce that idea of masculinity and men getting to the point where they're doing most of the leading. And a couple of months back, if you go back even further, back when I was just doing audio podcasts, I talked about this idea of a return to orthodoxy. It's an interesting episode because I was noticing this trend across the country and across the world where people are just kind of spontaneously reverting back to old school values. It's one thing I noticed. I noticed it on social media, and I would hear people talking about these things. And so a couple of things are people are going back to homesteading, right? This idea of growing your own food and producing your own food and getting away from all the processed crap in grocery stores and unplugging from the system in order to improve their physical and mental health, in order to get back to a more independent and healthy way of living. It's one of the things that RFK talks about, right? He talks about getting rid of all of these processed foods and chemicals that are in our diet that are illegal in other countries, that he very reasonably claims are a big contributor to our obesity and chronic disease epidemic. All the vaccines and all the medications that just wreak havoc on our system. They aren't even legal in large parts of the world. And those parts of the world live longer and have healthier lives here than we do here in America. And it's a shame. Okay, so that's one thing. They're getting back to homesteading. Men and women are just voluntarily deciding that they shouldn't just have sex with random people. So then, random and casual sex outside of even the religious community, random casual sex is on the decline. People are waiting to get married. They're waiting to have sex until they get married. They're quitting alcohol because they realize it's not good for them and that life is not what they want, right? There's always going to be plenty of young people that want to party, but there's this reverting back to these old school values. And it's not just among Christians or religious people. It's amongst everybody. Everyone feels like they need to get back to something, get back to a solid foundation. And it's been missing because we had a foundation. And then we explored the edges. We explored the boundaries. And that's one of the things I talked about in that episode is we keep expanding, right? And we get further and further away from the core. We get further and further away from the foundation. And now we're wobbling all over the place. And people feel unsteady. People want that, right? If you look at the church, one of the big trends in the church right now is a move away from the big Eva churches with the fancy lights and the loud music. The fastest growing church denomination in America is Eastern Orthodox. Seems crazy, right? It's one of, if not the fastest growing denominations in the United States. And if you don't know anything about Eastern Orthodoxy, it's It's a kind of a version of the Catholic Church. I don't agree with everything in Eastern Orthodoxy, but they are very liturgical. So you go in and you read scriptures and you do the prayers and you sing the hymns and sing the songs, and it's very structured. But that's drawing young people in. It's this return to this orthodoxy. It's return to this old school values. And that's what this country is looking for. And that's what this country wants. And I'm not saying that Donald Trump is a perfect representation of this, because he's not. I wish he was more that way. But of the two people that are running for president, he is by far much more orthodox. He's by far much more old school values. He wants to take America back to that excellency, that pride in who we are. Just like the world needs men to stand up and be men, the world needs America to stand up and be America. To be in the front, to lead the pack. We don't all need to lower ourselves to one level, right? And so we're just this one big melting pot. I don't know that diversity is a strength. People talk about America, its strength is in its diversity. I don't think so. America's strength is in its excellence. America's strength is in it being the best that it can be. America's strength is in its unity of values, not in its diversity of values. This country was founded on a set of principles espoused in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. That's what the power of this country is. That's what the people here want. That's why our ancestors moved here when they did. We didn't move here to have South American gangs taking over apartment complexes in Texas and Colorado. We didn't move here to have Haitian migrants killing our domestic animals. We didn't move here to have our women and children assaulted, raped, and murdered by people who shouldn't even be in this country in the first place. To have billions of dollars of drugs smuggled across our border by military-aged males from other countries. That's not what this country was founded on. It wasn't founded on the idea that a child who's not even old enough to get a driver's license gets to choose and make biology-affecting decisions for the rest of their life that makes them infertile, and it affects their health for the rest of their life. A decision that they can't reverse. Those are not the principles that this country was founded on. And that is what is at stake right now in this election. People that you would never even think of supporting Donald Trump or the Republican Party or a return to morals and values are flipping sides because they see it. They know it. RFK, longtime Democrat. Democrat royalty. His whole family. Literally the President of the United States, Democrat, was his uncle. Tulsi Gabbard, longtime Democrat. Democrat congresswoman on Trump's side. Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, longtime Democrat. Biggest proponent and fighter for the values of free speech in my lifetime. These are all people who are seeing this idea of a return to back to these values because they see that that is what makes America great. It's this foundation that this country was built on. And so as we go through the next couple of days, who knows how long it's actually going to take to decide this. Hopefully, we find out by the end of today. My guess is that there's still going to be plenty of stuff out there to be counted, but we might have a good idea. But if we all remember last time, we all went to bed thinking it was in the bag. And then we all woke up the next morning going, holy shit, what happened overnight? So don't be surprised if there's some stuff that happens. In Michigan, there's like 160,000 extra registered votes that were mailed out. In Pennsylvania, security teams were coming in and cutting off voter lines when there were still hours left for people to do early voting. And they were closing down the lines and telling them that the voting was closed. And I believe it was Virginia. I believe it was Virginia or North Carolina. They were literally, the United States Justice Department was fighting to keep people who were not citizens of this country on the voter rolls. In both of those last two cases, our courageous Supreme Court stepped in and said, you have to get those people off the voter rolls, and you are not allowed to go in and shut down those voter lines. In emergency rulings, the Supreme Court did that. Illegal votes, illegal registrations, all kinds of shenanigans are happening all across the country. Just like what happened last time. Only this time, the people are watching. There's a whole lot more people that are keeping their eyes on this than there were before. And with Twitter being in the hands of Elon Musk, he's allowing people to talk about it on Twitter. And so it's coming out. And there's no way that they can hide these things anymore. So don't be surprised in the next couple of days. I'm recording this on Sunday. It's going to be dropping on Tuesday. So between when I'm recording this and when it actually gets dropped, who knows what could happen? And who knows what's going to happen over the next couple of days from here? What I do know, what I am 99.9% confident of, is that if the will of the people in this country is carried out, and this is a free and fair election, and the votes are counted properly, I'm 99.9% confident that Donald Trump will be president. The poll numbers are there. The energy is there. The vibe is there. The people want a return to orthodoxy. They want to return to the foundation, to the principles that this country was founded on. And one of the biggest ones is the family, the nuclear family, mom, dad, children. Dad going to work, making money, mom raising kids. That ideal is what this country was founded on. And that ideal is what Donald Trump wants to get back to. And so fault him on a whole bunch of other things. I stand with him on that because I firmly believe that if this country was more family focused, more family friendly, we'd be in a whole lot better place. So keep an eye out about what's going on in the next couple of days. Right? Like I said, I'm 99% sure that if the votes are counted for the right person in the right way, freely and fairly, that Donald Trump will be president. If it doesn't happen, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what should happen. I know that people should peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard in whatever way that looks like. I believe that protests should happen. I'm not calling for violence, peaceful protests, but make them real. Make them meaningful. File all the lawsuits. Keep this thing tangled up in court for as long as possible. I wouldn't even be surprised if somehow the other side says, oh, look at all these voter irregularities, and they start to be like, well, we don't think it's fair. That could happen too. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am going to tell you that you need to vote. And I do believe that the American people, as a people, not as politicians, not as far right or far left, but the American people are ready for a return. They're ready to build back on a solid foundation of family and financial success. a return to the faith and values that made this country great once and can make this country great again. So vote. Keep your eyes out. Watch the mainstream news media, but pay attention to what they're saying and what they're not saying, but also keep an eye out for other sources, because chances are you're going to get better information from some of the alternative sources. One of the guys I like to listen to, Steven Crowder, he is on Rumble, Louder with Crowder. He's going to be doing an election live stream, and he's going to have more information and resources than anyone that I've ever heard of. He spent millions of dollars of his own money in order to get resources, in order to be able to find the best results and stuff that just nobody else is doing. So find some people you can trust. Find some people you can follow. And believe me when I tell you that your idea, that you're feeling like we need to get back to those values and morals, like that is not wrong. That is not bad. That is who we are as people. And that is who we are as Americans. And that is who we are as men and the leaders of our home. We want a strong family. We want to be able to make enough money to provide for them. And we want to feel like they're safe. That's our job, right? And we as Americans, we want to build this country to where this country can be what they wanted it to be in the first place, which was a beacon, a city on a hill for other countries to look for and say, we want to be like that. We're a laughing stock to the rest of the world right now. We should be out in front. We should be an example for other countries to follow, and we're not. I believe that even with all of his faults, even with all the mistakes that he's made, that Donald Trump is the man who can bring America back to that place again. Bring America back to a place where it is respected, where people look to us. And that's all I have to say. So please go vote. Please keep an eye out, and please pay attention. And keep your family close. That's what this country is built on.
So if you like this content, please give it a rating, a review, and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about me and what I'm all about and what I can maybe do for you, check out my website at thedangerousgentleman.org. That's thedangerousgentleman.org. Thank you for listening.